Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat. I am here today with Sarah Lyons Glabman. Sarah Lyons Glabman is the owner of PictureGroove Photography and also the founder of Epic Destination Shoots and BodyScape Magazine. Sarah has over 14 years experience as one of the most reputable photographers in the fitness and glamour arenas, and I can attest to that. She is certified with the Professional Photographers of America and also the Arizona Professional Photographers Association. Sarah has worked with most of the fitness magazines on the planet, and she has also been blessed to have her work published with FHM, Maxim, and GQ as well. These magazines are very difficult to get into. Sarah has just landed a new cover of Go Horse Show magazine with one of her stunning equine images. In 2019, Sarah teamed up with fitness icon Monica Brant to create the Epic Destination photo shoots. Monica works one-on-one with models and clients that attend this amazing photo shoot opportunity to perfect the posing, facial expressions, and each detail of the shoot, while Sarah works her creative powers behind her lens. Sarah also has a studio in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, where she shoots while she isn't traveling to do epic destination shoots. The studio is available for those out-of-town clients, not just for photo shoots. But the clients can also stay at the studio complimentary of charge if they have booked a photo shoot. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Although most of the content for BodyScape Magazine is photographed at the Epic Destination Shoots, Sarah also does shoots for BodyScape Magazine, as well as several other magazines out of her Scottsdale, Arizona studio. Today, Sarah shares her story, how she got started into photography, had no clue about it. She just one day in the middle of kind of, a life transition, so to speak, she just decides, I think I'm going to be a photographer, and then learns everything about it to becoming one of the best. And then she did the same thing with creating her magazine. It's such an inspiring story. And we are putting together the Wild Horse Project, which is my vision of what I think every woman should experience. And we go into detail in the episode about it. This is such an empowering episode for women and an inspiring one at that. We talk about all the ins and outs of seeing ourselves there, overcoming imposter syndrome, owning our confidence, whether we're a size 2 or we're a size 22, learning that all comes from within. And this episode was so great. I love Sarah so much. She's the one that shot my Billboard episode, my Billboard. You've heard me talk about that on prior episodes. And she just brought me from a single picture, got me in the top 100 in Status magazine of hot fitness models. And it's so funny because you have that imposter syndrome. You don't see yourself there, all the way to being in magazines, being on a billboard, and now a cover. So this lady is just fabulous, and I just can't wait for you guys to get to know Sarah today. I am so excited to welcome my dear friend, Sarah Lyons Glabman, to the Sisterhood of Sweat today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Linda. It is so exciting to be here. I can't believe this is the first time on your show.
I know. I've been wanting to get you on forever, but finally the stars just aligned and bam, it happened. And here we are today,
Here
bringing
we
some
are.
excitement and magic for everybody.
Yes.
And I really want the audience to get to know the Sarah I know. And so I really want to dive into Sarah is like a top 10 fitness photographer in the world. And I want her to tell you her story about how she ever got started into
How
that
much time do we
field.
have? Wow. Well, it's kind of a story. I mean, I was a fitness model back in the late 90s, and I was published in all the different fitness magazines, and I didn't do competitions as much. I was more the model that all the magazines loved to publish, right? Because I was curvier, and back in those days, that was kind of the thing. So I did that for a while, and then I got my personal training certifications. I got 3 of them actually. I became a master level trainer at 24 Hour Fitness when I stopped modeling. And then I got a job opportunity to travel across the country with Metrex Sports Nutrition. So, and at the time I was living in Seattle, and it was just so rainy and it was just so gray. And I think I was 32 years old at the time. It was like 2002 or 2003. And for some, like, God aligned this for me. I got the job with Metrex with one other woman that I'd never met before. And she and I both got this job out of 30,000 other applicants. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So she and I traveled the country with Metrex for 6 months. And we had a big Metrex Hummer and a big 15-foot trailer that we trailed behind the Hummer all across the country. And I think we did like 120 sampling events in 180 days around campuses all over the United States.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a very, very amazing experience for me. And basically, I was just kind of getting paid to figure out where I wanted to live because I knew I wasn't going to be living in Seattle anymore. So I decided to live in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm still here to this day since 2003. And immediately got into the real estate market because there was just something that I felt about Scottsdale that it was going to grow and I needed to be a part of that. So I got my real estate jobs situated, and I didn't get a license right away. I started flipping homes with a real estate investment trust company. So I was flipping homes that were valued at $500,000 to $700,000.
Oh wow. Okay.
Flipping homes was a thing. And I mean, we
Yeah.
weren't doing huge demo or anything like that, but we were just kind of, shaping up these houses that were a little bit older, just new countertops, new flooring, new, structural stuff and that kind of thing. And then I decided to get my license, and I had been rolling and going, and I was very successful at what I was doing until 2007 hit. And here it was 2007. We hear about the economic breakdown of 2008.
It was 2008 here.
Yeah, here and in Miami, all over Florida, it was 2007. So everything started to fall apart because we all thought, oh, it's always going to be like this. We're always going to gain property values at 35 to 40% every year. It's never going to stop. Why would we think it's going to stop? Well, it stopped fast. And I kind of, everything I had, I was losing because I couldn't afford to pay anything. And I was just, just like everyone else out here, I was living high on the hog. So I lost everything. And I got to the point where I was literally down to a few $1,000s in the bank, and I was 3 months behind on my mortgage. And my boyfriend, who I was with at the time, he stood over me and he's like, well, you better figure out what you're going to do. What are you going to do? And he's looking at me, and I had no thought about this whatsoever, but God just put these words into my mouth. And I said, I think I'm going to be a photographer. And that's how it started. And I'm like, okay, I guess I just put that out there. So here we go. So I was telling my dad, I said, here's my plan. I've got this amount of money in the bank. I'm this far behind on my mortgage. It's Thanksgiving. I'm going to go on eBay and I'm going to try and bid on this camera that I've been researching. And I remember being photographed with this one camera in particular. It's a pretty good entry-level digital SLR camera. I didn't know anything about cameras and I knew nothing about photography, but I knew that that was the camera. So long story short, I won the auction of the camera, and my dad's like, all right, kid, it's meant to be. I expect nothing less than 100% out of you. And of course I'm like, okay. So I got the camera and moved out of the condo. It went into a short sale. Thank goodness I didn't go into foreclosure, but it went into a short sale, and I rented an apartment, and I just like started focusing on how am I going to shoot? How am I going to edit? Who am I going to shoot? Well, fortunately, because I had a fitness model background history, I was able to tap into some old resources down in LA. And that's where I always did all my shoots. And I started my portfolio with Playboy Playmates, FHM models, Maxim girls. And I was just like, hey, I'd like to photograph you. And let's just do like 6 edited pictures at like $40 a piece. And literally that's how I was making my living at that time, just kind of stacking those people. And I would just practice editing, and people liked what I was doing. And so then I decided to post on Facebook about what I was doing. And some people from the fitness industry recognized my name. And I'm talking, this is now back in 2009, right? So there was nothing like what I was doing out there. And so some of the fitness people were like, wow, you're doing something completely different and unique. I want to shoot with you. And I was like, are you serious? Like, really? Okay. So I started doing photo shoots, and long story short, here we are in 2022, and things went all the right ways. So it's been nothing short of amazing and a blessing. This is all I've been doing since then. And it's just incredible the way that God has literally positioned me in every single scenario. I mean, look, I met you 10 years ago.
Right.
And this was just something that, who knew? We were doing a small little shoot on the beach in Fort Lauderdale during our fitness competition. And then ECAT was there too. And it's like, what is going on here? This is pretty miraculous.
That was my first beach shoot.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes. And it was incredible. It was an incredible experience. I mean, all the way down to the fact that you rented this house, you had designer clothing. It was just the looks, the hair and makeup artist.
Yeah.
And I felt like you were my fairy godmother putting me together, It was
That's how I've always done things. I want people, because I was a model before, and not all of my experiences were amazing, right? I was definitely like a factory model, like, okay, number 102, number 103, moving on down the line, right? Most of the time, I never even saw my photos when the photographers were done. They just went right to the publisher and like zits and bags under the eyes and everything, like whatever. So I always wanted to provide an experience for people that I care about you, and you're investing in me to help you create your image and your brand that people are going to see forever. I just wish I had me for me back then. You know what I mean? And so it's very helpful to just kind of always have extra tools on hand. I always have wardrobe. I always have a hair and makeup person that's top notch, because that's what I would want for myself, right? And, just to kind of be there to hold your hand through the process.
And you said so many things. I got to back up because I feel like there's some gold nuggets in here. First of all, I'm going to go back to the fact it was the crash in 2000. You said 7, it was 2008 here, and make everybody out there recognize that even though this is dire times, there's always opportunity, and you just got to look and push forward, because I went through almost the exact same scenario. I was in its corporate place. They're running people through just like numbers. And I wanted to do something that made a difference, because I cared about people, and I wanted them to get real and lasting results and not just be a number. Right. Okay. So I was like, okay, everything's going down. My mom and pop gym I'm working at, the guy's like burnt out. He's quitting and, closing the shop up. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So all these doors and windows are open to me over here. And I don't think I want to stay in this like environment over here, because I don't like the fact that people are just a number. And I just had that idea to start my first boot camp outside. And I remember I got a job. It was going to be the same thing at another gym. And I thought, so I take it? No, I'm not. I'm going to see where this thing over here leads. And I
Yes.
was at the park running people up and down the hill. We had a bridge. We strapped TRXs up. And now I'm in my large studio, you know,
It's
in prime
incredible.
retail space. And my vision and mission grew and grew and grew. And it is for serving women. And I feel like your vision is very much aligned
Yes.
with wanting to serve people. So look what comes out of the, you know, you've always got to look for the gold in your circumstances or the win. I think learn from the failure and look at the win.
Right. And sometimes you don't see the gold in your circumstance. It's right in front of you. It pushes you forward because it's like, okay, you trusted God to go down that road and he helped and he got you there. And then it's like, then he's got your back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he wants you to keep taking the steps forward. He doesn't want to push you forward. He wants you to take the initiative and take the steps on your own. And that's always been my experience so far throughout this journey, is just learning to go ahead and take that step. And I've taken many a steps. I mean, you know, now I'm also a magazine publisher and, you know, offering, we'll talk about that in a minute, but we can go into the magazine portion of things. You know, now I've been doing this for nearly 15 years and I had submitted photos to magazines from the beginning. I mean, in 2009, I had a magazine cover of FHM magazine because the model I was working with was kind of famous and she submitted it without telling me, but she sent me a text and she's like, guess what? We have an FHM cover. Great. It's amazing, you know, and it's kind of like it went that direction. And then the fitness stuff started to hit, you know, so I was always submitting. And then over time, a lot of new photographers that were just like me had come on, you know, and, you know, in 2012, 2013, and I kind of paved the way for a lot of these guys, right? So they're looking at the kind of work that I'm doing and they're submitting and then the magazine publishers, they're all getting backed up and it's just crazy. And so I just got to the point in 2018 where I became frustrated with having to wait on behalf of my models. I'm like, listen, I'm submitting their images. They should be published. Like, what's the holdup, you know? And they just couldn't print anymore. They just couldn't put any more models in. So I decided to start my own magazine. And it's called BodyScape Magazine. And I've literally just finished my 18th issue. It is a print magazine with the beautiful Amanda Black on the cover. And it is full of information. And Linda is published in here too, because this is the best of Bodyscape issue. Wait, where are you? Hang on, let me find you.
Flip past.
I did. There she is. This one is my all-time favorite photo of you.
Oh my gosh, that's what Shelly said too.
All-time favorite, because I think that we were in a location that you were just always dreamed about. So we were there. And this magazine is gorgeous. You can get it at bodyscapemag.com. Read a free digital issue or order your print issue.
Wow.
So I mean, it's super fun. That's 18 issues. And I'm starting a new one called Epic Fit Magazine. And Monica Brant and I do these epic destination shoots a few times a year together, where she works alongside me as not only an amazing posing coach, but also like my right-hand person. Like, she's looking for every detail with every model. And, you know, we're creating these epic experiences with these ladies. So I decided to start a fitness magazine just for the ladies that are attending the epic destination shoot. So it's called Epic Fit Magazine. And I'm launching the first one at the end of this month. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
I love that. It's so much opportunity for people. And now I got to call this golden nugget out. It is when you are deciding you want to do something you've never done, you have the fear, the little bit of imposter syndrome, like,
Yeah.
oh, who am I to do this? And then it's, how do I do this?
Right.
How do I do this? And when you start saying the how do I do this, that's when you're really starting to move forward, instead of, oh, I don't know how to do this. How can I, you know, I don't know enough, I'm not enough, all these things. But when you ask how can I do this?
Yep.
And you start stepping forward. I started almost the same way. I wanted to open boot camps. I saw this thing called Code Pink, and I thought that was the cutest name because if you know me, I love pink.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
so
know.
I'm like, it's an obsession. So I was like, oh gosh, I want to do this. And the lady was like, well, we can't really do that because you live in Ohio and Ohio doesn't have warm weather. She didn't have vision, as far as like
What a
expansion. Because
downer.
so it was great for me because I said, okay, then I'm just going to figure this out, start my own. And here we are, quite a few years later. This is 2021. I believe I started that probably around 2008, 2009-ish.
Wow. I'm so proud of you and all of your accomplishments too. It just, I know a lot of people that block themselves. And now that I don't do that, or at least I try not to, of course, there's always going to be that thing where you're like, wait, you still have a little imposter syndrome, right? Like, let's
Of
keep it real.
course, because it's like
Always
I'm
going
shaking
to
in
be
my
there.
boots.
Right, exactly. But they block themselves. And like I'll hear them saying it to me and I'm like, did you just hear yourself? Because you totally just squashed your dream right there, just in a half a sentence, talking about how you want to do something that you can't do it because XYZ. And I say let go of that mentality because that is detrimental, it's hazardous, and it's also not of the Lord either, right? Like that's the enemy trying to get in your way and give you discouragement that you can't do it, but you can. And you just have to be like, there's nothing but positivity allowed here. And that is the truth. You just have to keep on keeping on. And nothing that we think the first time is usually the right thing when it comes to the big old long-winded picture of everything. You want to make sure that you give yourself some grace if it doesn't work out the first time. Because if it doesn't, guess what? Chances are good that if you keep on trying, it's all going to work out in your favor.
Yeah, I've just got to say, how you learn is through your ups and downs.
Yes.
That's how you get your major wins.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I just love what you said about the positivity and not blocking your blessings.
Yep.
It's all about what you say, what you believe, and the actions you take.
Yes.
If you want to be that girl, Sarah has all the equipment.
I know,
He
right?
has the glam, the makeup artist, the experience. And I
Yeah.
think experiences are everything. It's what makes up your memories of your life, the things that you look back on and you're just like, oh man, I am so glad I did that. That was
Yep.
amazing. That was an experience I'll never forget. And Sarah just brings that, like, you have a gift. And I believe we all have gifts. And I think your gift is you just really bring the best out of the people that you're shooting. And I think you don't realize you can be that girl until you're at the photo shoot and it starts happening and you can feel it before you ever see the photo because it's all in the way you're feeling
Yeah.
when you're standing there. And I think it brings confidence and empowerment. Like when you do something you didn't think you could do and you see, wow, why not me? Instead of, oh, I don't know if I could ever do that. I don't see myself that way.
Correct. Yes. And a lot of people, they always say, well, I'm not ready. Well, what's ready? I mean, listen, competition stage lean is not a ring anymore. I don't publish that in this. You know what I'm saying? This is a magazine for real people. This is a magazine for people. You can be a size 2 or you can be a size 22. For me, I just want that wonderful spirited person that's excited to take those steps to capture themselves. My friend Shelly says, take the picture. That's her favorite quote. She has only done a few photo shoots in her life, but it's the same thing. She sees her photos and she's like, I'm so glad I did that. Because listen, we're not promised tomorrow, and there's certain things and certain milestones in people's lives and things happen. And maybe you're coming out of something not so favorable, but you've made it and you want to celebrate that. Or maybe you turn 50, like I just did recently, and you want to celebrate a 50th birthday. I mean, I've had all kinds of clients like that. So I'll have to make sure to share some of those with you too.
And I gotta say, you know how we all get ready for that wedding day? I
Oh,
mean,
oh yeah.
if we're getting married,
All
I mean,
right.
not knocking if you didn't want to do that tie the
Right.
knot thing, but I'm just saying, like, it's like this event. I think you've got to put things in place for yourselves that move you forward. Like, when I want to achieve a goal, I need to put a thing in place. And if it's a physical goal, I need something that motivates me
Right.
to instead, I can't hire someone to knock all the food out of my hand. But if
Right.
I know I am posing with Sarah in the desert or somewhere for this photo shoot, I am definitely going to eat healthy and clean and do my works.
You're
And
going
I
to do
just,
whatever it takes for you to feel best about you. And
yes,
that's great.
yes. And I think it's just like sometimes people have an event, they have a thing. I think it's putting these things in place. They really motivate us and it drives us forward. And then from there, you never know what you might accomplish. You might end up on a billboard in Times Square for 3 weeks.
Oh, right. There's that. Who did that? Oh, I think I saw Linda on a billboard in Times Square not too long ago.
3 weeks. Oh my gosh, that my heart started beating. I'm as we're driving by, I'm like, those are the billboards. That's where the billboards are. I'm like,
Wow.
oh my gosh, I had to get a pair of white sparkly tennis shoes. I call them my billboard shoes, but
Really?
at Steve Madden next door.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I love these shoes. Now, question is, how much are these gonna be expensive? Because this is designer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, the price is right. So I bought the shoes.
Yeah, you better wear those shoes next time I see you.
Oh, I was like, I should wear them in the photo shoot at our wild horses retreat.
All right. Well, do you want to share some billboards with people? Because I can do that.
Oh, for sure. I want them to see. Now, this is as she's pulling the billboards up, I will just tell a little bit of the backstory on myself, like as far as like I was feeling called to speak, and I had always had that fear since a young age at 8 where I had to do my lines and my friend's lines in a Christmas play. She got sick right before the event, and then they threw all her lines on me, and I literally was like standing up there like deer in the headlights, forgot her line, hers, and then mine as well, and froze completely on the stage. And
Oh
after,
no.
yeah, and nobody tried, like, my parents didn't try to make me feel better about it. So like, I think, I think if you ever have kids that go through that, make sure you encourage them that that's just a one time. And so I never wanted to speak. I never wanted to speak on stage. I never wanted to do any of that, but I started feeling called to it. And so I started doing it. And at first I had that major like imposter syndrome. Who am I to do this? And what will I say? How will I do this? All these things. And why? Are you talking to me, God? Are you sure
Right.
you're talking to me?
Right.
And all those things. And this person wrote an article about me in Thrive Global and Authority Magazine, and they put my picture on the side of this huge building. And I was like, okay, that's like preposterous, right? I was just like, for somebody with imposter syndrome, that's a little much. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. And then people started asking me where the building was. And then I started thinking, why can't we see ourselves on the side of a building? We're all dreaming too small. We
Yes.
are special. We are unique. We are powerful, and we can accomplish anything, our biggest dreams, and God guides our footsteps, and we have the tools to do what he's called us to do. And then now, like, so I think I needed that first little kick there. And then I said it out loud, what I wanted, what my dreams were. And I asked, I just totally believe in ask and you shall receive. And I asked, and within 4 weeks, you guys, loud and proud on the billboard with Sarah. And that to me was just amazing.
Oh gosh, that gives me the chills, Linda. That is very special. It's very special to me. And we wound up using one of your photos from 2016, I believe it was, when I was living in Vegas at the time, specifically. And this, I don't know if you knew this, but I had moved to Vegas to try and get my work on billboards on the Vegas Strip. And now God has aligned me with this amazing way to get people on billboards in Times Square. And it's also Los Angeles and the Vegas Strip. And it's like, it's just so incredible to see the work up there in that format. So I'll share here just a brief look at what we have.
Oh, wow. Those are like some of my favorite. I freaking love the one of ECAT in the middle and the white bathing suit.
I know. Yes, that was awesome. And because it's Times Square, we had to cut the lower part of her off.
Yeah.
But, you know, because you have to meet the Billboard committee's rules. So here's actual billboards. So these big clusters, I was actually up there too. And
Dr.
Sarah, Kimberly Castle, she had a giant one.
It's literally chopping her head off. Are you able to bring that in?
What's that?
It's literally chopping her head off.
Oh. Can you see that?
No, I cannot see her head at all.
Whose head?
ECAT.
Oh, right here.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, I was just scrolling.
Oh, okay.
Others too.
Yeah.
So perfect. That's pretty cool. We love that. And the billboards are a very rare and unique opportunity for people to, you know, kind of expand their businesses, expand their brands, expand themselves, expand their popularity, because you do get a chance to showcase either your website or a social media handle on one of these billboards when they go up. So it's huge exposure. And my availability for Times Square in 2022 is very limited, but also very exclusive. So now I have the ability to just have just the picture of the model and then their brand, and that's it. There's no more logos or anything like that that go along with, but they are massive, huge individual billboards. And I've also got some coming up in LA too, up the side of the Intercontinental Hotel. And that's all during Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week and LA Fashion Week. So it's insane.
And I really found the billboard experience to be a platform. And, you know, I knew what my why was. And so like I had dreams like this. I had dreams of being on a cover. The whole time I was always doing Miss Fitness and all of the things. And I don't know that I ever really went for it completely. Like, but every girl has those dreams. I think of maybe they could model or maybe they could be that girl. And it was not until I found my why did I want to do that? And my why was my voice was almost snuffed out once. And I really want to use my voice to help other women recognize that their power and that they're worthy of using their voices. And just this whole thing helped me. I reached, like, just from the billboard and putting my message out there, you would not believe how many women DM'd me on Instagram, in person, telling me things that I would not have known. And I really feel, in my experience of what I've been through with domestic violence, that I was able to use my voice in a good way just because of this platform. So it isn't just a picture. I think it's a platform.
Oh, it is, definitely. It's what you do when you're ready to really elevate yourself. And again, it starts with really believing in yourself and eliminating all that negative self-talk about yourself and just going for it, taking that leap of faith and saying, hey, you know, if I've got a bit of a plan behind this, always going to go visit your billboard is always a good idea. When you have a photo of yourself with your own billboard, like that is empowering and people love seeing that. I remember when I first started posting about the billboards, like my audience was going, wait, is this real? Are you for real? It's like, yeah, it's actually real. So I just haven't been to go see any of them yet. And I'm determined to do that at some point this year, probably get to New York. But
Now, for any of you guys that have major like imposter syndrome, I would say start out like I did, just get a photo shoot,
yeah,
and then you learn how to pose and stand, and you learn so much about yourself. I've always said I cannot overestimate like the power of a woman just getting her hair and makeup done, and
there's nothing
the
like it.
freedom feeling of being at a beautiful destination, having this photo shoot. I've always said, I think every woman owes it to herself to do this at least once. But, you know, if you're
Yeah.
like I am, you're like, you fall in love with the experience of it. And I just think it's just amazing. I can't say enough about the empowerment and the confidence that you build.
This lady right here, she's coming to shoot with me on Sunday for one of the big, huge billboards I was just talking about. So she's coming all the way from South Carolina to Phoenix to do this billboard shoot with me because she's got a huge, she's a Isogenics super success story. Say that 10 times fast. Isogenics super success story. So this is all about her brand and everything that she's worked so hard for and all of her successes. So I'm really excited about her coming to visit. And these, I just wanted to show the audience, you know, this is the kind of look, you know, these kinds of images that are Times Square worthy, right? We're not doing a lot of fitness. We're not doing a lot of bikini or swimwear. I mean, we're approachable. We are, you know, jaw-droppingly gorgeous, right? And she didn't feel jaw-droppingly gorgeous that day, but the hair and makeup made her feel that way. And you asked me, this looks like a Ralph Lauren situation.
Yeah, I really love it.
Yeah. And that's Amanda Louise from Amanda Louise Swimwear.
Oh, okay. I didn't even recognize her.
So just kind of showing, you know, the audience that, I mean, and I love this. This is so cute, just so conservative. This wound up being the cover of San Antonio Monthly magazine. So I went and photographed her at her home, and it was just a lovely lady, a lovely shoot. So yeah, that's kind of what we've got sharing as far as photos go right now. But there will be a lot more.
So moving right along, you guys. So you've been on this journey with me for a while. Well, you see the horse behind Sarah?
Horses.
You see the horses? Oh my gosh. Okay. So I was having this moment because this has been a rough 2 years. Can I get an amen? Am I preaching to the choir out there?
No, let me start singing.
Yeah. So I literally was sitting here one day, and because I had watched way too much news, you know, you got to turn it off. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, no, I'm like, our dreams are not canceled. God is in charge. And how can I'm just going to dream big, and I'm just going to really throw my dreams out there, just full on out there. And something I've always wanted to do that I've never done. And I was just thinking of all these things and how I could create an experience. And I was just thinking wild horses just kind of came up in my mind, because I've always loved, what I love about wild horses is they're not tame. They're running free. They're independent. It's like this empowerment. They're just beautiful in their habitat, their environment. And I just think like people are like that too, before somebody comes along and tells you you're shining a little too bright, or you better dumb that down a little. I think people are beautiful when they're in their elements and they're free to be themselves. And that's why in the podcast, I say to be who you are instead of who others would have you to be. And so I just love the whole thing. I've always thought if I was an animal, I would be a wild horse because they run free. That's the biggest part. Freedom right now. How free are you feeling? So this whole wild horses thing, I'm like, let's break loose and let's get a little
break out of the stable.
Right. Yes. And so I Googled wild horses and up came like this location. And I have been like for a few years now, I have had these ideas about this thing I want to do, this women's retreat. And I've talked about it a little bit, just a little. And I've just like, it was just like this thing. So here I am, I'm dreaming about the wild horses. I see this retreat. I'm like, man, that would be the coolest to have this women's event where the wild horses are running the freaking beach. Who doesn't love the beach, first of all, right? And right now, that's the freest place you could be, is at the beach. And then with these wild horses. And I am just like, man, they come right up to your house. I'm like, that would be the coolest experience that most people have never had. And then I was dreaming, like, I want to be sexy at 60 on the cover of a magazine. And I said it out loud to my husband. And I said it that day. And I wanted to be on the billboards. And I was just dreaming. And dreams are not canceled. And God is in charge, because ladies and maybe gentlemen out there, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 off the list. And so like the billboards, we're having a wild horses retreat for women on the beach. And I'm going to do my cover shoot for Sexy at 60. Yes. So right there, speak your dreams out loud, ask and you shall receive. And I'm not done, because this gets a little like, if your guys you want to hear something, I think this was just like not coincidental at all. Because I said this out loud. I said it on my podcast. If you go back and listen to a few episodes the last 6 weeks, you'll hear me saying it. And I literally am standing at these billboards, and it was scary. Each time I took this giant leap to do like the that was scary, kind of.
I know.
It's overwhelming. It's kind of like, whoa, like, and I am walking, I am standing there. My husband is supporting me. He's right by my side, and he is shooting these videos. And right after all of our 6 billboards went down, up came on every single billboard, all 6, I believe it was 6, wild horses on every single one. And I got the chills. And I was just like, oh, I know this is meant to be. I'm going to pull the trigger on this. This has got to happen. But I still didn't have it all together. Like, how was it going to happen? The how, the why, I was like, okay. And I was standing, I just thought, man, this is just so peculiar that this happened at the billboards, and wonder what that means. And I was standing in yoga, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I like, wow, this is how it could work. I am like, we'll have a photo shoot, like I've always said everybody needs to have and we'll have it at the thinking. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all the things I have said I wanted to do, but I just didn't know how to put it together. I wanted to have a photo shoot for women where they could have the experience and learn how to pose, learn how to look great in pictures, and feel good about themselves, and realize you don't have to be a size 2 to feel beautiful. And then have Sarah, who I feel like is my fairy godmother for this, I'm like, having Sarah is the best part, you guys. It's everything. And so I was just thinking about it, and I was like, I want everybody, this is my fire walk, Tony Robbins fire walk, but it is the Sisterhood of Sweat fire walk. We're going to be standing there cheering you on. We're going to teach you how to walk in heels, and the first time you're going to feel a little awkward. We're going to be all cheering for you. And the second time you may feel still a little like, oh my gosh, but by the third time you're going to be owning it. And that's what
Yeah.
it's all about. It is never about the perfectness. It's about
Right.
owning who you are and just showing up. And I just think this would be perfect for any woman out there that relates to what we're talking about today.
Yeah, well, you can show me how to walk in heels again, because it's been way too long since I've had heels on. My feet, look, I turned 50 and my feet were like, my feet were 70 years old. Okay.
You're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. For anybody that has, feels the same way well as Sarah's feeling, and you're like, I have bunions, Linda.
No,
Um,
no, they just
I'm
hurt.
just playing, but you know what I mean, like where your feet are just like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, you can always prance in any shoe.
Oh, yes. I'm a prancer. For sure. So what we've decided to do is Linda reached out to me yesterday. It was the day before yesterday.
Right.
Today is January 4th,
Yes.
2022.
Right.
And so she reached out to me the day before yesterday with a very sweet audio message that just melted my heart. And my husband was sitting next to me when we played it, because I was like, oh, it's Linda, and we talk back and forth. I mean, we've always been good friends, but I think we've talked more in this past 2 months than we ever have, because of the billboards, because of the excitement, because of the magazine, because of everything. And you've opened up to me about your dreams and the wild horses and the billboards. I mean, that just gave me chill bumps, forever. And so Linda reached out and she says, I really want to do this retreat and have everybody kind of experience, even on a tiny level, what it's like to work with you. And love that. Okay. Like, how sweet is that? My heart just melted. And my husband's like, he grabbed my hands. I looked over, he had tears in his eyes.
Oh,
He gets a little schwitzy every now and then. It's cute.
that is so sweet.
It's really sweet. I love him. So, I mean, and he looked at me and he said, well, honey, what do you have to do to make that go? And I'm like, well, I'm going to talk to Linda. I played your message and I got one right back to you. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. So the next day, Linda started sharing locations with me that she had already been looking at. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks so fun and so cool. And it's in North Carolina. How far is it from Norfolk, Virginia? Because that's the airport that you fly into, right?
I feel like it's over an hour. So you're
Okay.
gonna definitely need to know if you're flying in.
Yeah.
That you're gonna drive from the airport. But I'm telling you what, it's just like the Spartan race when I did a Spartan in North Carolina. And it was like, I think it was not the beast, but the now I can't think of it, the super, which is about an 8-miler with all kinds of obstacles. And I am like, this was worth the price of admission. This was worth the drive. This was worth all the work. I was just like, this is the most beautiful thing I have ever experienced in those mountains. And I just can't even imagine like what you guys are going to feel when you get to this location, because it is like a dream.
Well, we've locked a place up and we've got dates for it. So do you want to tell the people about the dates?
Yeah, it is going to be April 6th through the 10th. We'll come in on that Wednesday. We'll stay through and we'll check out on Sunday. And so it's not like a full week. So I know a lot of moms out there were like, oh gosh, well, how am I going to do this? I got to figure out what to do with kids.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for you. And when's the last time you did something fun that made you feel free, that was just for you? I mean, you're special and you deserve to feel like worthy and beautiful and just all the things.
I love it, Linda. You worded that so well. And if I was one of your viewers listening to this and I wasn't me, I would be like, sign me up. Tell me how to do this. Because we can accommodate probably 20 people in the home. And I will be doing, everybody who signs up gets a little mini photo shoot with me. And it'll be kind of like, headshots or lifestyle or something just kind of fun. and we'll have a professional hair and makeup artist there to do your hair and makeup. And it's just going to be so awesome and so fun. And the scenery, me as the photographer, I'm looking at like the house itself. I'm looking at where it's situated on the beach. I'm looking at what side of the beach does the sunrise on and sunset on. But we have locked down a very beautiful location. I mean, it is high end and it's huge. And I'm like, who makes houses this big? This is insane. Like, I'm gonna get my cardio just walking around finding people, you know?
It is. And I will tell you, Sarah gave me a little bit of a push because she's like, we are dreaming big, aren't we? And I'm like, yeah, big dreams are not canceled.
Nope.
And so God is in charge. And so we are going after our dreams because we know these things. And I hope that you all will go after your dreams and that this will help you to shine a little brighter and step a little like more like, you know, how you get that energy in your step because you're so excited
Yes.
and pumped and you can't wait for like something to happen.
Yes.
This is that kind of thing. Get excited, get signed up because we are doing
excited.
Yes. And I know Sarah's like, I'm like, oh my God, she's more excited than me.
Hey, I'm the photographer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we're going to have yoga on the beach. We're going to have boot camp. We're going to run the beach. We're going to have healthy food. I mean, everything you could imagine. Okay. So I'm telling you, don't wish you woulda, coulda, shoulda. Sign up and you will like, this will be a memory you will have forever. And we will have a sign up soon. I'll be announcing it. I just got to get that together so that you have a place to go to do it.
Yeah, we literally just birthed this yesterday.
Yeah.
So believe me, we're on it. I'm like working on a flyer, you know, like how to reserve your spot, all this stuff. So
oh my gosh. So on the Mount Kilimanjaro episode where it's Find Your Mount Kilimanjaro, she asked me, what is your big dream? Because she climbed this mountain and she's a mom of 6 kids and she like adopted 3 of them. And she always thought she was just a mom and she didn't realize she could do something like that. You never know until you just do it, right? You have to take the leap and just try it. She's like, what is your big dream? And I said, I know this is going to sound weird and peculiar, but I want to have a women's retreat with wild horses running the beach.
I mean, why not? God gave us that territory in our wonderful United States of America. So it's not like you have to go to a different country to get there. You know, God bless the USA, right in North Carolina, not too terribly far away. So that's great. I'm excited.
I'm excited. I hope you guys are all excited. And I hope that everybody out there is just dreaming a little bigger and recognizing that every journey might start as a disaster at the beginning. It could be, you know, like my friend Heather Monahan, who got fired from her job. And now she's like this famous speaker, author. You know, sometimes things that look like the worst. I mean, I remember this Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, I want to call it a Dear John letter, but it was basically they were changing the whole structure where I built my business for 5 years and they didn't want private contractors anymore because I was making way too much money. And they were like, oh, we can just pay somebody this amount and just do what she's doing. What are we doing here? And so they changed their whole business model. And I was like literally crying. Where are my people going to go? I don't want to go back to the corporate gym. I'm always all heart. And I cried like, because I got it like at midnight or something. And I was crying. My husband was like, it's going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. And I'm like, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I remember what I cried about. I celebrate now. And so in the midst of your circumstances right now, just realize that even though it looks like dark, there could be this beautiful light at the end of the tunnel where you are leaping into your biggest, boldest dreams and leaving that thing behind.
Exactly. it's a dream for me to be exposed to people that I've never met before. And just, your audience is so amazing and such beautiful people and so loyal to you and everything that you have put out for the world, which has been just absolutely beautiful. Linda, you like spread rainbows everywhere and you're so positive and you always have been all heart. That was really good. That was your golden nugget. I've always all heart, and you have been. You care so much about people. And that's what this is going to be. This is going to be a retreat where it's full of love. I don't know how to do it any other way. Like, why be a mean girl, right?
Right. No mean girls allowed,
no
guys.
mean girls. Like, this is going to be a retreat where people learn a lot about themselves. They'll learn a lot about, being in front of a camera. Shoot, there might even be billboard opportunities for some of these people that come and join us. You never know,
Right.
If you got a business that you want to talk about, you want to brag on yourself, you should brag on yourself because you're awesome.
Right.
And, like Linda said, we'll have the information for you to get there and sign up and all the information what's included and everything like that too. So I'm just so excited.
At the end of the day, it's all about sisterhood because we're all going through this life together. It's about collaboration, not hating upon one another. It's about building each other up, not tearing each other down. And it's about celebrating each other's strengths and gifts as women. And that's what this is. This is a celebration of being a woman and being like these wild horses. So come join us at the Wild Horse Project. You won't regret it.
You can't even believe that is just going to be what it's called. It's awesome.
Oh my gosh. And it is all about saving the wild horses. So we are going to talk a little bit about that in future episodes. So
for sure.
Without further ado, I just want to thank you, Sarah, so much for your warmth, your kindness, your vision, and just, you are like utterly astounding at what you do. And I appreciate your gifts so much. And I just want you to know that and realize that what you do matters. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm so excited.
Gosh, thank you so much. You give me the chills. Like, I think I've gotten chill bumps about 12 times during this episode.
Well, then we're doing the right, we are doing the right thing. We are doing it. We are going for it, guys.
Yeah, we are. Well, thank you, Linda. I appreciate you so much. And you keep on doing what you're doing. And I feel like we might find you on the cover of a future issue here pretty soon.
There you go. And dream it, believe it, ask for it, and you can receive it. So bye, everybody. And just thank you so much. Let us know how you like this episode. DM me about the retreat, whatever your questions are. And we will have a place to sign up. I'll put it up at Sisterhood of Sweat. I'm sure Sarah will have something up at PictureGroove Photography. And just let us know what your questions are, how you felt about the episode. And as always, keep on keeping on.
Yay. Thank you,
Bye,
Linda.
everybody.